Okay, in this video we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally I'm making props, and normally I wouldn't do like an unboxing video, but this one I feel is a little bit special. This is a prop replica of the Chicken Walker, or the ATST Scout Walker, but the Empire Strike Back version from Merlin Models, and it is made to be exactly like the prop replica used in Empire Strikes Back. I'm looking forward to see what this looks like. Okay, so I've got the box here from Merlin Models. As you can see there, it's quite a big box. However, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, when it was shipped, you can see there is a bit of a gouge taken out at the bottom. So when it's been delivered, so I'm hoping everything in the inside is fine. So let's, without further ado, open this up. Now the thing that made me want this prop replica is it's been made to be exactly how it was in Empire Strikes Back, even down to the painting. And the fact that when it was animated by Phil Tippett in Empire, one side of the ATST, on its legs, it was painted, no, not for camera. Basically don't show the side to camera. And that is how this comes. So it's been done exactly how it should be, like that. And I just thought it was a nice little touch. And it's one of my favourite vehicles. I actually prefer, I like the Scout Walker, the ATST overall. I think it's a great vehicle. I actually prefer the Empire Strike Back version. I prefer the smaller head and the longer legs, and the Chicken Walker, as they call it. So I've undone the sides. Let me just get the middle. And then we'll take a closer look at what's inside. So, a little bit of polystyrene to cover it. And we have the box on the inside. So I'm just going to stand out of frame. And let me just move this out. We'll get the box out. So you can see there, the gouge it's been taken out on the shipping. Put my fingers through it, which is not ideal. Let me just move this to the side. However, looks like the box itself is fine, which is good news. So there you've got ATST from Merlin Models, logo at the top. And we'll just open it up and see what's inside. So with the box, let's have a little look. We've got this little card or magnet type thing. Looks like it. Empire Strikes Back ATST Original Supporter First Edition. And I'm just going to open this up and see what type of material that's been done on, because that looks quite cool. Yeah, it's been done on some sort of card type thing. It's a little card, basically just saying First Edition. Nice little edition. I like that. It would have been better if that was in metal or something like that rather than a card, but I think that would have looked really nice in metal. But still, just a little bit of aluminium or something like that. That's a nice little touch. Oh, and we have, which looks like, although it's a little smudged in the back, we have the ATST Signature Edition. I've got number 4. I have number 4 out of 30. And we have the signatures on the back there. A little bit smudged when it's been going into the thing. But it looks like a nice little signature. It's the same as signature on the front. So you can actually display it. It would have been nicer, I think, if you had, because we do this a lot with collectibles that I have. You maybe have something like this and you have 2 little panels that are actually signed in the front. That would have been nicer, to be fair, rather than having the signatures at the back. So, yeah, it looks like a card as well, rather than aluminium. But no, it's nice to get the signatures. But in fact, that is still wet. So whatever reason, it's coming off my fingers. So it seems to be whatever this has been printed on. It's not taking that too well, and the signatures are rubbing. So it actually came off. I've got a little bit of silver on my fingers, which is interesting.
I did reach out to Merlin Models, and they understood that there was an issue with some of the initial plaques that they sent out. So what they've said was just send them back to them, just the plaque back to them. They'll redo the plaque and send it back on to you free of charge.
Okay. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see things closer up. That looks like we've got a few boxes. A few different things. We just take out all that. Little bits of polystyrene in a funny shape. Oh, what's this? This looks like some sort of coin. Oh yeah, if I remember rightly, because of the painted edition, you get a coin. Although this looks a lot bigger than what I was expecting. So we have fan art, Merlin Models, limited edition kit, status, or statues, rather, established 2020. And then we have the ATST. That is really nice. It's actually inside this, which you can't really, it looks like you can't take out. Doesn't look like it. Oh no, you can. It's magnetic. And that coin is huge. I wasn't expecting it to be that size. But that is nice. I really like that metal coin. So that goes in there. That just sits in. It's magnetic. And that will sit beside it. That is really nice touch. I was expecting a small coin. I was not expecting something that size. But that is really nice. Like that. Like it a lot. Move that down to one side. So it's definitely got into my display. And it looks like we've got more little boxes and things. So we're going to have a little look. We're going to have a little look. It all seems to be in parts. All seems to be in parts. No, I went for the painted version. So it looks like it's been painted, but separated, rather than being coming in one big thing. So, okay. So it looks like there's a bit of construction to be done. So I'm just going to take out all the boxes. I would have thought it would have came painted and in one piece. Make sure this is a stand for it. But the stand, a nice block, which is nice. I like that. Something nice and clean. Like that. Just going to make sure there's nothing else in this box. Nope. Okay. So it looks like we have various boxes, rather than it coming in one piece and being shipped that way, which is interesting. I've never had anything like that before. It's usually glued together, comes as one, and you go from there. So I'm hoping there's instructions somewhere in terms of how to put all this together. So this is saying regular head. So I'm just going to grab my scissors. Let's make sure. There. Covers and necks, right. You get different things here. Okay. Let's have a little look. It has been painted, so yes, definitely you have to construct. I'm just going to be very careful with that. Put that down. So there's a head. I wonder if is that fibre optics? Can't be. Surely not. Has these little rubber bits there. And I'm wondering if that's like fibre optics. That's weird. Can't be. I don't remember it being lit up. So there you can see on one side it's been painted with the blast. Other side has pretty much not been painted, apart from a couple of little scuffs here and there. But there you can see that's the head, the back as well. And it's been made to pretty much be the exact same as what was used in the movie. Got a rubber tube here as well. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. As I say, we've got the base. Oh, I'm going to move the base to one side. We have this bigger box. That looks like it's empty. This looks like, I think this might be the armature. That's one of the legs. There we go. So that's one of the legs. And the thing is what they did with this was it actually made a metal armature, which actually you can actually move around and adjust and everything. It was just like, you could literally stop motion this and be this, and animate it if you wanted to do it that way. You can see there, that side is painted. That side, off camera. Just a nice, cool little... I just love it. I just love the fact that they've done that. So that's one leg we've got, which I imagine that's the right leg. L will be left. So left, haven't seen any instructions yet, so I maybe need to look online. So there's the left leg, which is mostly painted on one side rather than the other. See that moves up and down as well. Although I think that's meant to go underneath. Yes, it is. So that's meant to go underneath that part there. And that's what keeps it taut. Really clever system, actually. It's just one bit under the other. And that's what keeps it taut. Without that, it's loose. So there we go. Another leg. So I have the right leg and the left leg. We open up this little box. See what this is. So this is all little greeblies and things that go on the underneath of the head, I suspect, where the legs are. So again, nice detailing, paint job, etc. Imagine the legs go in here. I'm suspecting. Something along those sort of lines. And then this, I imagine, covers that or something. And that's what it looks like, because that's not really been painted there. And it actually looks like there's a little bit of glue here. So it looks like that should actually sit over that, from what I can tell. But we'll look into that. So maybe that's just dropped off while it's been shipping. So we'll look at that. And we've got a couple of smaller boxes. Covers and neck. So you get this sort of rubber cover for the neck, which is part of it. We have, what's this? Another piece of metal for putting it all together, from the looks of it. Let's see what this one is. Might be going to be two of these, maybe. I don't know. Oh no, it's the feet. So we have both the feet there, as you can see. So right and left. And actually, that does move up and down. It's actually on bits of rubber. So the way they've done it, it's on bits of rubber, so if you were to move it, it moves and bends. That's actually quite clever. Very clever. Like that. And maybe that's what some of that metal is, it's over there. Some of the rubber parts on the head. Okay, we have another part. I think that probably goes on the back. But we'll check that out shortly. This is called rack. I imagine this goes over the top. Some little brack to put into place. And there's this. It's just lots of little flaps that go in the back and things like that, although it seems to have caught in the glue. So you can actually see there, the glue has actually caught on the fibres padding. So I'm going to take a wee bit of time to take that off. Seems quite sticky. And then we've got these two pieces as well. Side gun, which is a gun for the side of the head. And you've got that as well. However, no instructions, so they must be online. So I'm going to have a look for them and then see how we put this together. I've all the parts laid out and I'm going to start constructing this together. Most of it just clips together. As I say, in some of the parts there's almost like a glue. This is actually some fibres from the packaging. It's almost like a sticky glue. That's basically just to stick it to the item without you actually having to super glue it if you want. So they've done that as well, or you can super glue it. This part here should be stuck on the bottom of this. The glue has just came off when it's been shipping, but that's an easy fix. So I'm going to glue that together as well. The only other thing you'll need, or you may need, the guys at Merlin realised that they forgot to put a screw in the case or in the box for the base to stick to the foot. And this is the reason why one of the feet, this one, has this broken off. It's purely because a screw goes into one of these to allow you to hold it onto the base and keep it there without it moving. So that's what I'm going to do. So most of the ones that have went out, Merlin have said that the screw was supplied. However, in the first few boxes, they forgot to add them in. So if you have no screw, all you need is a 1024 1.5, and that will do you. And basically what that does is it's countersunk at the bottom, put the screw in there, comes out the top, screw it into the foot, and you'll be good to go. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is get the foot on, and then I'll start putting the rest of it together. Now, I'm not going to use this video to show you the full build. You can watch Merlin's video. They've now got a video up in, which went live a few days ago, to show you how to construct all this. The video's great, so just watch that. I'll put a link in the description below. However, I'm just going to build all of this and see where we're at, and then I'll give you my full review at the end. So let's get started. That took a little bit of time, but here is the complete model. Let me just go through a couple of small issues before I go into how amazing this is. And this is an amazing prop replica. One thing I had an issue with the base, and I still have an issue with the base, is the hole for the screw has unfortunately been drilled at an angle. So when you put the screw through and you actually screw in the foot of one of the legs, it actually makes the leg at an angle, which I can sort of get away with because I've made it go, made the ATST look as if it's walking. Hence, we've got the leg back here. Wanted to give an impression of a little bit of movement. But if I was to have it standing still and things like that, might have been a bit of an issue. So the hole was drilled at a bit of an angle. But apart from that, everything else is great. You know, putting the wires in the video, Merlin shows how you can put all these little wires. They were a little bit fiddly, and you have to use tweezers and things to try and get them in. But overall, it was fairly easy to put together. There's a couple of fiddly bits, as I say, but the quality of it is incredible. You've got the metal armature for the legs. You could, like I say, you could literally use this for stop motion if you wanted to. But the actual model itself, as you can see there, is incredible. I'll do some close-up shots in a second. But it is just well painted, well built. The fact it was painted and then shipped, because I went for the painted version, I've got enough things to build and paint. I don't want to have another thing to do. I wanted to see what other people were doing. It's just built and painted in the right way. I love how it's been put together. I love the detail in it. Like I say, the ATST from Empire is actually my favourite out of the two, between this and Return of the Jedi, with the bigger head. I actually think this looks better, personally. Or the chicken walker, as they would call it. But the thing I love about this and the way it's been painted like the prop replica. So it's painted on one side. However, if you turn over to the other side, it's pretty much unfinished. You've even got off camera on the leg, because that's how it was. That side was never shown to the camera. So hence the reason why this side is fairly unfinished and that side is painted. And I just think that's a great touch. And I love the fact that they've done that. It just makes it more accurate. The only thing that you have to glue in this whole model, really, even with the painted versions, is the two guards here in the leg. That's the only thing I had to glue on. Everything just clips in together and can easily come off if need be and stuff like that. So it's actually really, really simple to put together and put back. Just need to get these in the right hole. There we go. All just slots into place. That way, if you ever have to take it apart, well, apart from these, obviously, if you have to take it apart and store again for any reason, then it's easy enough to do. But no, the base is great. Would I put an acrylic thing over it? Possibly. But the way I've got it walking, I wouldn't be able to do it, because the acrylics actually wouldn't cover this part of it unless it was over the whole lot. Because it's sort of hanging over here because of the way I have it. I could twist it round a bit more so I can have it more face on. But I wanted it so when I have it straight on, rather than having it at an angle at a display, I can have it straight on, but the actual model itself is at an angle rather than just being straight on, because I think it just makes it a little bit more dynamic. So, like I say, you can have it like that, or if it's face on, you've still got it at that angle, which is what I prefer. I just think it's a great model. Like I say, a couple of little gripes was with the base being in the wrong, or drilled in the wrong way, and these smudging. However, big props to Merlin. We can send these back. So if anyone's got this issue, you can send it back and they will give you a new one and use a pen that doesn't run, basically. So that is the only other thing, but they are doing everything they can to rectify that. If you didn't get a screw, they're even going to give you a $10 store credit. And like I say, the only downside is I wish these were all metal, just like this example from an Expanse bookmark that I've got from a Kickstarter that I got as part of the comics. But that is very, very small gripe. Now, the reason why I think these would have been great will be printed on aluminium, which would normally happen for a collectible. You normally get something aluminium, it's just like a black marker, or it'd be marked on the front for a signature or something like that, which I've got plenty of when you take them along to Comic Cons, etc. But to give you an example, this was actually something I got on Kickstarter. It was part of a comic book series for the Expanse. This is actually on aluminium and it's printed. That I think would have made these just pop that little bit more, and having it in aluminium would just come across a bit more premium considering what we've paid for this. Like I say, this is a very, very small gripe. No, I'm not going to display this properly. I am going to display the coin, but I'm probably not going to use this. I might display it with that. I don't know yet. However, it's going to be harder, or I can display the front of this. Unfortunately, the back of it is not really going to be much. But it would have been nicer if it was on a metallic, or an aluminium rather, panel like this. Because it just lasts longer, just looks nicer, and you get the metal sheen through it. And it just would have came across as a bit more heightened in terms of the collectible itself. But again, it's a very, very small gripe because I'm really happy with the actual item itself. I'm really happy with the ATST. Everything, well, it's just fantastic. And the coin itself, this coin is incredible. If I take this out, it's a metal coin. It's huge. And really well detailed, and just a nice little thing to go with the ATST when you display it. So overall, really happy with the whole thing. If I was to give this a score out of 10, I would give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason why it's losing points is because of the autograph, which I know they'll fix, but not being on metal and the drill not being straight. But again, those are really small gripes. The actual ATST itself is just incredible, really nicely detailed. The fact it's real armature, sort of metal armatures for the legs, is just a nice added touch rather than just having something. There's a bit of weight to this now because of that, rather than just being like a 3D printed model and it's quite light, etc. Like I say, it was really easy to put together. So if you're on the fence about this, and don't worry about the little issues I mentioned because the Merlin have fixed that now, but I think this is a great model, something everyone who is a fan of this type of vehicle, who's a fan of Star Wars. I've always been a big fan of the Scout Walker. I think it looks great. They'll be really, really happy with this in their collection. As a prop collector, I'm really happy with this. So I'm going to get this into my collection. I'll just finish by saying massive props to Merlin Models. I think these guys have done an incredible job. And the good thing about Merlin Models, now I'm on the Discord, etc. If you get any issues with these things, or maybe something breaks as you're putting it together, or even on their kits, because you can get these in kit form to actually paint yourself, they're very proactive and they're very accommodating. They'll send you replacement parts and things like that as well. And what you really need to do for most part, I believe, is just to cover the shipping cost. But I think they've done a great job. If you're a fan of this vehicle, if you're a fan of Empire Strikes Back, a fan of the ATST, this is something you're going to love in your collection. And the fact that it's painted as it was on the film with it off camera is just a great touch. And yeah, great work, Merlin Models. And I just wanted to do this quick video just to say props to you. And I think you've done a great job. So thanks for watching.